So the report we've looked at is 2018-19 season, so the last year before Corona. And then for 2019-20, it's a slightly complicated picture because what you're having is the football seasons and the club's financial years usually coincide. This year it's not going to happen like that. There's going to be effectively, we think, about $500 million of revenue from the 2019-20 financial year that is permanently lost through rebates to broadcasters, through games being played behind closed doors. And then there's going to be about $500 million that's effectively going to be deferred out of their 19-20 financial year into their 2021 financial year. So the football sector, the Premier League, we think is going to see very much a V-shaped recovery. So about £1 billion worth of revenue that would have normally come in 19-20 not coming in, but then a bounce back in 2021 because effectively you've got 1.25 seasons going into that period. And so we'll see a very sharp V-shaped recovery for the Premier League.
Yeah, Dan, I was actually thinking the same thing without seeing the evidence that you guys have accumulated over at Deloitte. Some business models for some sectors, such as airlines, autos, they look broken for a very long time. But the football sector, I can see actually it only going from strength to strength on the back of this because, of course, more people are watching streaming, more people are watching soccer and other sport at home as well. Over the longer term, despite this devastating 1 year, possibly 2 year hit, it's going to be phenomenal, the business, isn't it? So I can't see any change in the relationship between the players or the employees as they are, and indeed the management of these clubs, the ownership, and indeed the fan base as well.
No, I think one of the things that's been evident during lockdown, during the pandemic, has been the extent to which people have craved the things that make a normal life enjoyable, and sport is definitely one of those things. Football's the biggest sport in the world, so the long-term strategic strengths of football are all still there. Not to underestimate the kind of chronic short-term pain that's going on at the moment, but so I think for the Premier League, it'll ride it out pretty well. Obviously, more challenging in the Football League, and particularly when you get down into League One and League Two, where those clubs obviously rely on match day income. So from their point of view, it's really, really tough. If you can't admit fans to the stadium, that business model really struggles. So we're hopeful, of course, when it's safe to do so, that we'll see that level of the game recover as well.
Yeah, and apologies for the English Football League if I concentrate on the Premiership as well. But the business model, we talked about this a lot, of course, when the Glazers took over Man U all those years ago. Is there a real business model there? And my question for you is, does it matter if these Premiership clubs make money or not, given the fact that sovereign wealth has very often, and other buyers very often, ignored the business model just because they want trophy assets over the years?
So I think what we've seen is a move towards a more sustainable business model at the top end, and that's been triggered by a couple of things. New owners coming in who don't want to lose money, the financial fair play regulations sort of taking a bit of heat out of the market, and just the sheer growth in the revenue. It's been an incredible success story for 25, 30 years. There's very few industries who've grown year on year the way that top level football has. So I think that model is becoming more sustainable. Again, if you look below the Premier League, then it's been a bit more reliant on the largesse of owners. But no, I think long-term strategically, top division, very, very strong. Definitely some things to work on at the Football League level, but at least, the Football League is starting from a very strong pace, in as much as that the year we covered, 17-18, they had £1 billion worth of revenue among the 72 clubs. They had more revenue at every level, at Championship, League One, League Two, than they'd ever had before, as well as having more money at the Premier League than ever before. So, as I say, long-term strategically, in a very good position. Short-term pain, obviously not to be underestimated.